Hi, Emma McCann here. I want to do a video about what I do. So it's come to my attention recently that some of my message might be a bit confusing because it seems quite broad. So I thought I would take the opportunity to do a video and to clear the air a little bit and give some clarity. So I work through a lot of different mediums, and my favorites are coaching, yoga, meditation, running workshops, giving talks, and I've also got a group program for women called the Pleasure Revolution. And I work with men and women, but I have a particular niche with women that I really enjoy, and women working through particular topics together without there being masculine energy, I find can work quite well. We tend to feel safer when there isn't, I don't know, a particular threat of having a man there. So my work, though, it depends on who I'm talking to as to how I describe it. To some people, I talk about unlearning everything you've learned about yourself and the world so you can relearn it in a way that actually matches your core values. To some people, the bold people, I say I support people to tell society to fuck off so they can just be them. Essentially, what I do is I get you to consider the conditioning that you have been brought up with, everything that has been reinforced across your lifetime. So if we took body image as an example, you probably have a particular image that comes to mind straight away that is really present in our media and in our beauty industry. And there's a particular look that is in over different periods of time. So in the 90s, it was the waif. And in Marilyn Monroe's days, there was a bit more curve. And so beauty across different cultures, different countries, and different eras, even within the same culture and country, is very different. But it probably, to some extent, can, may, or has impacted or impacts the way that you view yourself and compare yourself to that. So conditioning is, this is the image that I see of women all the time. Perhaps this is what I'm supposed to look like, or what it's an acceptable version of you, whether that's physical, emotional, what you talk about, the way you present yourself in general. An acceptable version of self is what you don't get in trouble for, what isn't a threat to other people, what doesn't create abandonment or anger. You know, it's a version of you that is acceptable. And over time, when particular things get reinforced, so being angry or sad can end up being seen as, bad. It's not safe. People don't like me. People get angry. People tell me to shut up, or I'm being stupid when I do that, thinking of a small child. But over time, these things get reinforced. And even as an adult, I'm getting close to 40, even as an adult, these things can still be sitting there underneath. So I've done so much work on my body image. I grew up in a very body conscious family, and that still will flare up from me from time to time, depending on the area that I'm with. And, going back to my hometown, for example, where everybody is very image conscious, I've got to be really in my power to not get drawn into that body consciousness and this idea that I've got to look a certain way to be acceptable. So it's unpacking all of that, unlearning and relearning about yourself, about your place in the world, about the world you live in based on the values you actually have and what it is for you to be a woman, how you want to live your life. So a big example for me is the picture of what I thought it meant for me to have made it when I was in my late teens. So by 25, I was going to have the house, the car, the manicured lawn, the corporate wardrobe from Q, because I had a corporate high-flying job, the perfect husband, and children who were spotless and, completely ordered, essentially. And when I realized that I hadn't made this vision, I had grief. I had a lot of grief. And then I went, well, actually, hang on. None of that is actually what I want. It's simply what I thought society told me I should want. So, that's a very kind of like a big overarching example, but there's so many things like makeup before videos or body hair or eating cereal for breakfast. So my advice to you watching this is just start to question, why do I buy that? Why is that food seen as food to me? Is this actually food? What's in it? Or, why do I do things the way I do? Why do I feel like my house has to be perfect? Why do I feel like I have to present this way to be perfect? Why is it not okay for me to cry or be angry or ask for what I need? So start to think about those things, and then start to think about what your actual values are, and how you can live those values in every day and say yes to yourself instead of putting other people's needs first. So I hope that helps you a little bit. I know what I do is quite broad, and because I talk about that conditioning, it covers so many areas, but essentially releasing shame and releasing that conditioning is sitting under everything that I talk about. So if you've got any questions, or you want to share some conditioning that you've been working on, or something's come up for you as I've shared this, please pop it in the comments. I would love to hear from you, and let's get this conversation started so that we can really embrace the authentic, unique versions of us completely. Have an amazing day. Bye.